My name's Matt Musso. This is my wife Tamara, and we own a Fourth Line Cattle Company here in Hillsburg, Ontario, where we raise longhorn cattle for beef.
My name is Marion Edward, and we're here at Sheldon Creek Dairy and Hamview Farms. We are an on-farm dairy that produces all the milk from our beautiful cows that live in this barn, right here on our farm.
I'm Sarah. I'm the co-founder of Ontario Honey Creations.
And I'm Peter, also co-founder of Ontario Honey Creations.
Yes. And today we're here at our hives at Adamo State Winery.
So my name's Sean Davis. This is Davis Family Farm. We originally purchased this farm in 1952. My grandparents purchased this farm.
I'm Jeff Roney. My wife is Samantha Campbell. The two of us run Bennington Hills Farm, which is located in Amaranth, an hour north of Toronto.
So we were always drawn, or had a desire to move out of the city into the country. And when we started beekeeping, it was just a small hobby that kept growing year to year, and eventually we got to a point where it was the right move to go into full-time beekeeping to help us, kind of have an income, balance our personal lives with our kids, give us a more, a less structured, more flexible lifestyle.
Yeah. Opportunity. We had the land. The idea was, when we did start, was maybe get 5 cows, and that quickly turned into 20 and then 40 and now 50. It's the lifestyle. It's not really a job. It's every day, 7 days a week, and you gotta love it or you wouldn't do it.
My family's actually been farming here since 1953. There's been many chapters written before us, and the newest chapter has just begun in the last 8 years. So my sister and I have joined the family farm, as well as my husband now. And we were all kind of forced to leave the farm for 4 years before we were allowed to come home full time. So myself, I was actually a teacher. I taught up in Nunavut. My sister was a banker, as well as a seed salesman. And my husband was a pipe fitter doing sprinkler systems in the city.
Yeah, it was basically the family aspect of what drew me to this. I went to school for business computer systems, information technology management, but my love was here. So this is what brought me back onto the farm and to continue the farming that we do here.
I was drawn to farming because I felt that farmers did very important work. Feeding people and taking care of the land is extremely rewarding, and I'm really happy that I can be a part of it.
So a typical day here at the farm, depending on who you're talking to, so my sister wakes up quite early. Our cows actually milk themselves when they want to, which sounds, very sci-fi maybe, but it's really great for the cows because they can milk themselves when they want based on their own schedules. And so, believe it or not, the cows actually milk at specific times in the day based on the actual cow themselves. So Emily actually has data on her phone that tells her, what the cow's temperature is, how many times she's milked in the last 24 hours, how she's feeling, how happy she is based on how many job movements she's had. So her day is very much surrounded about how to make that cow living in the most perfect way, in the most happiest lifestyle. So she gets up really early in the morning, works with the cows, and then she's also out in the field. Myself, I'm up quite early doing the marketing side, so getting all the sales in for the day, so people will call with orders, managing the team, and also replying to emails, phone calls, and managing the store. My husband is up at around 4 o'clock in the morning, and he's here making the product itself. So we would definitely be considered early birds, but there's nothing greater than seeing the countryside sunrises or the sunsets at the end of the day.
In the summer, our days, or my days in the bee yard start around like 5 a.m. I'll get up, have breakfast, drive to a bee yard that could be half hour or 2 hours away. So I usually start in the bee yard at 7 a.m. and work until I'm done, which is around 3, 4, 5 o'clock, and then start getting ready for the next day.
Yeah, it's constantly, like with me, because he does most of the beekeeping, I'm doing most of the sales and marketing. So my day would start similar, very early in the morning, around 5 a.m. For all the farmers markets, and then driving into the city and completing those and then getting back home in the evening.
A typical day starts at sunrise. Depending on the season, we'll have a few more, a few less animals to feed and water. But there's always chores to do here. We always have animals around, so the cattle and the sheep get moved every day. Same with the chickens when we have them. If it's in the summer, we'll be dealing with crops that we'll either be planting during springtime or harvesting during the fall. The downtime is spent on building maintenance or equipment maintenance and just kind of doing whatever comes at us.
Free time, what's that?
Yeah, free time. Oh.
Going to buy cattle?
There's not a lot of free time, I guess.
We drive the four-wheeler around the farm.
Yeah.
We go out and ride our horses occasionally.
Yeah, we show quarter horses. My wife barrel races, and my son, he's slowly getting involved, has his own pony, so I guess our spare time revolves around that. But there's not a lot of it here on the farm.
It's not really separated time, it's more, it all kind of flows and conjoins together.
Incorporated, yeah.
Hanging out with my kids. So I have 2 young children. Both of them love to be on the farm, so typically our free time is still spent on the farm. But there's something to be said about being able to work with your family and being able to see the joy of that and the successes of working together as a team or as a family through the eyes of your children.
Our free time in the past, we did beekeeping to fill up our free time.
Yeah.
And now all our time is spent with the bees.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
some ways, on some part of the business.
Yeah.
Either beekeeping, harvesting honey, bottling honey, getting ready for the next market, or preparing like future expansion plans sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like we're always thinking about the business.
Yes, yeah, there isn't much free time. When I do get a free moment, I like to go hiking. I take my kids and the dogs all hiking also within Headwaters. Some beautiful trails here.
Yeah, there's not much free time with farming and owning a business, but when there is free time, I spend it with my kids. I have a 4-year-old and 6-year-old, and that's basically what we spend our time doing is traveling around. Just not too far. It can't be too far, but we go to Florida every couple weeks. For 2 weeks in the year. But other than that, we're always just spending time with the family on our spare time.
I guess you can't beat country living, and farming encompasses everything about it.
Yeah, and we have a young family of a 4-year-old son, and it's just a great way to raise him. He's outside 95% of the time helping us on the farm doing chores. To him is fun. That'll probably end when he gets a little older. So yeah, it's the lifestyle, and we enjoy it. We enjoy being around the cattle. We also have quarter horses, so that's our pastime.
In the summer, you get to work outdoors, working with honeybees, which is really cool. So I get to grow the bees, make new queens, sell bees to other people that are interested in bees and share that passion with them. Harvesting honey is always a lot of fun, and then we also make mead and vinegar from our products, so we get to do a little bit of everything in our business.
Yeah. Similar, what I enjoy the most is working outdoors. Like I do most of the farmers markets, constantly interacting with different people and then sharing our passion about why honeybees and beekeeping local honey is important.
I think it's the family aspect of it all, that I get to work with my family here. My kids get to be raised on the farm where we work as well. It's amazing that it's a 12-hour job every day, but it's to be able to sell your own product that comes from your own farm. It's just an incredible feeling.
I love that I get up in the morning, I go outside, and I just ask myself, what does this farm need from me today? And then I don't have to wait for a memo or refer to a job description. I just get to do the thing that is the right thing to do on this farm on that day.
We don't have a farming background. Neither of us come from families that farmed. Tameron's family had quarter horses, raised quarter horses, and I was born and raised in the country, but really not a farm base.
My sister and I are both trained opera singers. nel cuor più non mi sento. Which is like probably like the funniest thing. We have cows. People are like, oh, do you sing to the cows? My sister is an incredible singer, and she would definitely answer that she does sing to the cows.
Like as a kid, my parents had bees, and I was actually pretty terrified of honeybees. So going into beekeeping was, you never have guessed that I would have done that in the past. Even now, I still have a general fear of bees, probably like most people. So you always see me fully suited in the bee yards, even though I'm around. And
There's a bee crawling on you too right now.
like it just wasn't something I planned on doing at all.
Yeah.
So just by chance.
I did go to school for information technology, for computers and everything. I always lived here, but my background educationally isn't with farming. So I think it's always kind of a surprise when people find out how I made that just career change. Right when I was done school, that's when I decided to come back to the farm.
Yeah, like the one thing I find in talking to people, like especially at the markets, there's just a generalized fear of stinging insects, like across the board. Honeybees in particular, they tend to be fairly docile. They don't want to sting you. They'll actually die if they sting you. And a lot of the people, their immediate response is to swat at them. Don't do that. It's gonna make them a little bit more agitated. To put it nicely, just keep your hands on your side and then walk away, and they tend to leave you alone. Same with wasps and other stinging insects. It's a general rule of thumb.
Well, okay, so like you always see in cartoons that bears like to eat honey, like Winnie the Pooh, but in fact, when bears don't actually go after the honey, but they go after the brood in the hive. So the baby bees that are unborn are full of protein, and the bears like to eat that part of the hive. So they'll come into a bee yard, like the one behind us, and they'll topple the hives, eat the brood, and then leave once they got their share of what they wanted. And that's why we have electric fence around our bee yards, because we've had a couple bear attacks in this area.
Ooh, that is hard. I think my absolute favorite would probably be our yogurt line. So either it's the plain yogurt in the morning with my granola, or it's raspberry maple as a snack. I also absolutely love our flavored milk products. So we do salted caramel, pumpkin spice, eggnog, which is extremely popular, strawberry creamsicle. All of those things are often great to create with, whether it's in your coffee or in your cooking. And I think one of our newest products that people are most excited about is the A2 milk, because we're the only ones in Ontario that produce this product, and we were the first in Canada to roll the product out to the Canadian market. It's great for people who have milk sensitivities, and so it's a great way to bring people back to drinking milk again, because what's greater than what Mother Nature gives us?
Favorite product would probably be, I really enjoy doing the sunflower oil that we do. It was a couple years ago when I was kind of looking at the sunflowers we have and what else can we do, what other products can we make out of these sunflowers. And when we first started creating the sunflower oil, it's been a hit for us, and I really enjoy making that for everybody else.
In June, we had our first farm to fork dinner down in the meadow clearing next to the cows, and they all cooperated and laid right outside the tent, and everybody thoroughly enjoyed. And we had 130 people, I think, for the first dinner. And then we just did a fall dinner where we had 150 people. And the only complaint that we had was that we don't do this monthly. So it's just a fantastic way to showcase how attainable and how affordable local food is, and that a lot of people didn't even know about some of these places that are literally right in their backyard. So it's just another way of showcasing and trying the food and meeting the people that put all the work in.
I think that if you eat, you're involved in agriculture, and I think that people should consider themselves part of the system and act accordingly. They need to be involved in agriculture. They need to, first of all, be informed about what's happening, and then make wise decisions within their realm of what should be done to make agriculture and the community better.
There's no greater challenge right now than to educate people about where their food comes from. If you have money in your pocket, you have food in your mouth. And so there's a bit of a disconnect, I think, between food and people who are buying it and what us as farmers do on a day-to-day basis. So we actually offer tours here at the farm, and we offer them once a month. We have the next one coming up, but it's just a great opportunity for people to actually come and see the farm, and I think that's one of my greatest passions, is teaching people about where the food comes from.